Racing in the rain. Like the Asia Motorsports Hour, it demands your attention. We're here to give you an adrenaline rush, take you back to the last century, and to celebrate like winners. Plus, we give you the chance to win some motorsports merchandise by testing your powers of observation throughout this show. But we start with a quick update on news of Asian competitors at the WSBK and Supersport circuits. They were in Argentina at the San Juan track for the penultimate round of the season, where Japan's Kota Nozane celebrated a new contract with Yamaha in the WSBK by picking up points in both races. The 25-year-old is 14th in the standings in his rookie season, but is third in the rookie standings and fifth best rider amongst the independent riders. No Galang Hendra in Argentina. Visa issues meant the Indonesian missed the Supersport 600 event, but rest assured, he'll be the star turn when the season ends at the brand new Mandalika circuit on Lombok, Indonesia in November. And staying with the news theme, I'm joined by Ron Hogg, marketing manager of Two Wheels Motor Racing. Ron, delighted to say we had some racing for you in the Malaysia Superbikes Championships at Sepang. Before we go into the details, great to be back racing with the big bikes, but the weather played a big part in the weekend.
Yes. I think everybody was just very happy to get rid of the rust. You know, a lot of them have not raced competitively now for over a year. So we were all quite cautious as to, what kind of times would appear. But yeah, apart from the wet weather, it was fantastic racing and shows that all the riders just want to get back into action as quickly as possible.
Let's talk about the specifics and talk about the Superbikes first. And on Saturday in drier weather, Kasma Danial showed that he could well be one of the future on the big bikes because he handled the big blue machine beautifully.
Yeah, it's, surprisingly, he's 21. He won on his debut on a 1000 class, so it's fantastic for him. I think the world is for him. I mean, he's just got to continue getting a lot of mileage to understand more the way to ride the 1000 bike. But his early pace just shows you so much potential that Kasma can go on to become one of the big guys in this particular class.
In race number 2, once the rain hit, it was a veteran, Zakwan Zaidi. He started way back on the grid and yet made the most incredible start and was in the lead, well, almost by about the third corner. Obviously, rain helps because they were on wet tyres. Nonetheless, though, Zakwan must have been thrilled to bits with that start and that performance.
I think it was a very, very good start. He sort of made everyone look as though they were not moving when he got off the line. He started from the back of the grid because he was not able to attend the qualifying, but he did the free practice. And I think just the experience that Zakwan has riding the 1000 showed in the wet weather how he could manage and compose himself to just literally ride away with the win. He's one of the seasoned guys. I wouldn't call him a veteran. He's only 25 or 26. But yes, I mean, he's got plenty of mileage on the 1000 bike with the Honda team. And he put his experience and just pulled away from Kasma and Azlan and the rest.
Let's move down to the 600cc and Khairul Idampawi back on Malaysian shores. I haven't actually seen him racing live in this country for a long time, and he comes out to win race number 1 on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it was a good start for Khairul Idampawi, or we call him Kid. I think he's very happy. I think for him there was no pressure, nothing. It was just getting back on the bike. Obviously, the talent that he has shows with his pace. Maybe he was a bit fortunate with that victory with the other two guys who just like to, crash together, Azroy and Ibrahim crashing out in race 1. But, kudos to Kip. I think he did well for his first race back after almost a year without any activity. Shows that he's still got a fire in him, and hopefully it's back and we get to see Kip racing in more races soon.
Moving on to race number 2, you mentioned earlier that there was a double crash. Azroy, Hakim and Ibrahim crashed not once, but, well, that was when they crashed into each other, or rather, Azroy leaned on Ibrahim. But in race number 2, gosh, they both seemed to broadside it at the very same time, at the very same corner. It was a unique accident as far as I can remember.
Well, I think they just somehow or another there was this patch of water which both of them decided to press their throttle at the same time and, you know, open the gas, and it was sort of like, as you said, synchronized swimming, gymnastics. They both sort of crashed the same way. It was nice for viewers, but I'm sure it was not nice for them, and it was a pity because, you know, the two of them were the fastest rider over the weekend, and it would have been a nice race if we had more guys involved. But as it is, yeah, you know, Azra and Ibrahim, I'm sure we'll see more of them in the next race.
On to the race itself. That obviously left the way open for Helmi Asman to go and pick up 25 points. And in a very, very short season, as the MSBK will be, it means he's got a chance of picking up a title so long as he doesn't fall off his bike next door, whenever the next second round is.
Well, the races are in 2 weeks' time, so it's like 14 days away. And yes, it puts Helmi in the forefront together with Sharifuddin Azman and even Khairul Dampawi, because that three of them just stayed on the bike the whole weekend with the two wet races that we had. So it's a very tight finish to the end. You know, we have 3 more races. Anything can happen. So I think in a short season like this, it's just important to continue picking up the points, regardless of what problems you're faced with. So I think Helmi and Azman are in good position. They may not be battling for the lead, but they will be battling for the championship come next weekend.
Down onto the 250cc's, and it was a really good weekend, a win double, but in very tight races for Izam Iqmal. He won on the Saturday, and he went to match that on the Sunday. But there's some good keen competition down in the 250s. However, there were a lot of mistakes in that little battle that he had with Shami. Both riders seemed to buckle a little bit under the pressure. Is that a fair way to read their rivalry in race 2?
Well, I think it's sort of, again, you know, the lack of mileage and competition that we've had over the last 18 months. It does affect riders, and both are still very, very young riders, Daniel Shami and Izam Iqmal. So the pressure when leading at the front to be able to pull away, to make sure you don't make any mistakes. We saw both of them making plenty of mistakes, and you know, occasionally even allowing Shafiq Rosley to be together with that group, because the front two, even though they were faster, just were not being able to be performing on a consistent basis. So I'm sure come the next weekend race, you know, with these 3 races down the belt and more mileage, they would have better composure. But it just shows to you that, you know, the competition is very keen, and the need for victory is very important for all these guys. So they will always put it all out when they are on the track.
Indeed, as you say, but a double victory for Izam, which puts him in a really good position to take this short season championship. Can you confirm the MSBK season? You mentioned 1 more weekend. Is that going to be it? 2 rounds for the campaign?
So the next round for the championship will be 29 October to 31st. It will also have triple header, 3 races. So 1 race on Saturday and 2 races on Sunday. So there'll be 3 more races before the end of the championship. So a quick short season, but nevertheless a very important one for the riders to get their feel back, to give them confidence, to, you know, it's just not the riders that are rusty, but even the teams and even us as organizers, you know, faced with all these problems. The teams were facing all kind of problems, and we're not moving as what we used to be, you know, at the racetracks every other weekend or so. So yeah, it was just good time for us to be all back at the track and to enjoy the races.
A shift in focus now, and Hong Leong Yamaha were one of the original teams when the ARRC started back in 1996. Time for a catch-up, we think. When Yuki Ito and Brock Parks combined to earn Yamaha Racing Team ASEAN the 2019 Asian Road Racing Championship Superbike title, it ended a barren run of 15 seasons without a championship for one of the ARRC's founder members. As Tim Hu, the general manager of Hong Leong Yamaha, the group behind Yamaha Racing Team ASEAN, explains, that title invigorated the team to redouble ambitions to become the top team at the ARRC.
Yamaha in the world is always known for its motorsports connections. Yeah, we are always part of this brand legacy of performance, innovation, and style. So we have never left motorsports. So even in the Malaysian level, we always have this kind of a DNA whereby motorsports is part of our business, very strong linkage to our business, and we have always been in it and never stopped. So ARRC is only a very logical extension of what we do from the local scene to the regional scene.
The team adopted a Gen Blue branding, which had a successful sponsorship event in Malaysia in 2019 for that 2020 600cc championship. And that name looks like it's here to stay.
So currently we're known as Team Yamaha ASEAN. So in the coming future, we would like to also incorporate Gen Blue in the whole name for the team. So it will probably be Team Yamaha ASEAN Gen Blue. So this will actually integrate both the local scene, what we've done for the branding, with the international scene or regional scene. So this will be the way forward. Team Yamaha ASEAN Gen Blue.
Whilst another tweak in the direction of the racing team is to move away from the 600cc championship and to focus purely on the superbikes for the coming shortened campaign.
So as you can see, we have focused a lot of our energy into the 1000cc in this year. So we have stopped some other races, but we are focusing on the 1000 so that we can pursue this vision of ours in the team and also rider championship level.
For this late starting 2021 season, Yamaha Racing Team ASEAN are introducing a new pairing for their Superbike campaign. Japan's Yuki Ito starts his 10th season in Yamaha Blue, and he'll be accompanied by young Malaysian Kasma Danial, who's already considered a real find from the Malaysian scene and has already tasted victory in the Yamaha Blue at 600cc.
I believe we still have a very strong rider lineup from Kasma and Yuki, yeah? So as you all know, Yuki was actually trained from the Yamaha group, from the Yamaha Japan group, and similarly, Kasma has been grown from our local scene as well. So these two, they understand the whole working dynamics in the Yamaha Motorsports management team and also how to develop themselves further with the machine. I would say we have a very strong rider lineup for the Yamaha team.
But, and this is a big but, when we look back into the history books, Hong Leong Yamaha, in various name guises, have now gone 17 seasons without winning an individual title at Asia level. Is it fair to say the team has underachieved?
It's a learning curve for us to be performing at the regional level. And I believe the first 10 years was actually just participating, the participation in this regional level. And the second decade was actually focused on coming up to our team management and also building up the team and also the system towards coming up with a better rider training, mechanics training, and also machine setup. So I believe these 2 decades have been a very, very good learning curve for us. It is time to also show the world or show the region that what these 2 decades of hard work has been for us.
That's not to say that the team haven't been truly competitive. They traditionally did well at the Malaysia Cup Prix, and back at the start of the century, Cha Tuk Chung won consecutive titles for Yamaha Racing at 600cc, whilst at 125cc, Hisham Engadin was even more successful with 3 individual titles from 2001 to 2003. But since then, individual race wins galore, podiums by the score, but no individual titles, despite being able to call upon talent such as 3-time 600 runner-up Ahmad Fuad, 4-time third-place 600cc star Zamri Barber, Aslan Shah Kamruzaman, twice third for the Yamaha Malaysia team, and more recently, Australia's Brock Parks, runner-up in the 2019 Superbikes Championship. So the team has history, ambition, a great mix of riders, and they've got a bright new Gen Blue image. So in this shortened season, is 2021 the year Yamaha end their 17-year-old drought for an individual champion?
The team, the whole team, Yamaha Japan and ourselves, we are relentless in trying to pursue this number 1 position.
Before we go to break, a chance to win some road racing merchandise, courtesy Idemitsu. Today's 2 questions revolve around the Hong Leong Yamaha team. Go to the Asian Road Racing Championship page on Facebook with your answers. Question 1. Name the last individual ARRC champion for Hong Leong Yamaha. Clue. It was back in 2003 at 125cc. So, name the last individual ARRC champion for Hong Leong Yamaha. We have a classic race coming up after the break in which Kasma Danial showed exactly why Yamaha have such high hopes in the young Malaysian. We transport you to Zhuhai 2019 after the Idemitsu choir. For today's classic race, we take you to Zhuhai in the 2019 season and a double battle royale between Adam Noruddin and Hong Leong Yamaha Malaysia's Kasma Danial Kasmayuddin. Noruddin had won on the Saturday on the last corner. There was to be revenge for Kasma on the Sunday as he secured one of his 2 race victories in the season.
We wait for the red lights to come on. When they disappear, we will be underway. Pittapong Boonlert gets off to a solid start. Not so good for Ramdan Rosley to the left of this view as we look. Ramdan bike number 23 is dropped 4 of 5 places from that start, and it's Pittapong Boonlert and Kasma Danial who will be leading 1-2 into that first circuit, and there looks to be a problem for Ramdan Rosley right from the very start there, Barry Russell.
Oh, that's miserable. Yeah, I think you're right, Des. That's so disappointing.
And also going out wide, that was Pittapong Boonlert. Now that makes it very interesting. No, indeed, Pittapong, he's dropped off away, and Kasma Danial has got open track ahead of him. Behind him, there's a little whittle from Azroy Hakim Umar, but what a fascinating opening 3 or 4 corners, and there is the problem for Ramdan Rosley. It is the Yamaha, though, of Kasma Danial that leads for the 2nd straight lap. He has led from the very first corner once he got the better of the good start from Pittapong. It's Adam Noruddin in 2nd. Pittapong Boonlert's got himself back up to P4. So that little manoeuvre that cost him, sent him down to P10 temporarily. He's worked hard to work his way back through the group, and Pittapong Boonlert, the only danger with having worked so hard is that you've maybe used up a little bit more tyre than you'd like to. Pittapong Boonlert for the Yamaha Thai racing team. Remarkable series of results. 6 wins in a row before a 3-1-3 in his last 2 races. 207 points in 9 races to date. At the moment, though, in 4th place for the first time outside the podium. Oh. Now in a podium, Andy Farid loses the front end, and Pittapong Boonlert goes through into P3. Pittapong has got himself ahead of Adam Noruddin. As we were focusing on some of the back markers, Pittapong Boonlert has really made a real move, and he has got Kasma Danial in his sights. Wow, what a half lap that was for Pittapong Boonlert. Is Kasma Danial raises the head up high. Boonlert goes on the inside. Pittapong Boonlert takes the lead with a fabulous overtaking maneuver, and Kasma Danial, who'd been serenely in front, more than a second ahead of Pittapong Boonlert, is suddenly chasing the tyres back wheel. We have got 2.5 laps to go, and Pittapong Boonlert has tied timed this one beautifully, or has he? Because remember how late into the race Adam Noureddin made his moves yesterday. And Kasma Danial goes on the inside. Boonlert has a look. Right, we are back to dueling 3 in a row. Pick any 3. Boonlert around the fast final corner 14. After this, it'll be 2 laps to go. And the lead for Pittapong Boonlert as they go past is 0.325, 0.06 ahead of Adam Noureddin. What a finale we've got again from these 3 riders. Noureddin goes into P2.
Yeah, you saw his team manager Zulfami Karadin on the pit wall there, waving at his rider, hurrying him along, and he got the message that Pittapong's gone back in front.
So Adam Noureddin P2, and then Kasma goes on the inside. I promise you that this would be a genuine duel. Kasma Danial, he's got Pittapong in his sights, but Adam Noureddin's got Kasma and Pittapong in their sights as they slide into the corner. Tight angles, and it's Pittapong who leads, uses the full width of the track just to make sure that there's no space for Kasma to get by. Kasma has a look on the inside. Kasma takes the space from Pittapong Boonlert. Pittapong tries to go around the outside. Adam Noureddin also has a look as well. 3rd change of lead in this lap alone. Kasma Danial is the man who's holding on. Has he got the ability and the determination? Whiplashes around this corner, and we'll use this as a rehearsal coming into the final lap. It is Kasma Danial leading from Pittapong from Adam Noureddin. Adam Noureddin P2. He knows where to make his maneuver, and Pittapong, who was leading, now back into P3. Incredible stuff. Final lap. Riders giving their all, lifting the brakes until the very last minute. A little whip turn as Pittapong goes on a different line, tries to get something different on Adam Noureddin, but Adam Noureddin trails behind Kasma Danial. It's all coming good. Adam Noureddin looks on the inside, and Pittapong is still there. 3 still in with a genuine chance of making this. These are the 3 podium sitters. Pittapong, the championship leader, has to do something special though, because he's got Noureddin and Kasma Danial ahead of him. Noureddin will be looking at Kasma Danial and looking for an error. Goes on the outside. Noureddin looks on the inside. Kasma Danial is beaten on the inside. Can't hold it. Kasma round the outside. Pittapong has a look as well, but it's Adam Noureddin who takes Kasma on the last lap once again. Adam Noureddin won yesterday. Kasma doesn't want to give it up. Final corner. Kasma and Noureddin. Kasma Danial goes wide. Kasma Danial this time holds on for the victory ahead of Noureddin. And the celebrations will be long, and they will be loud, and they will be thoroughly deserved.
That was revenge, poetic revenge there by Kasma Danial. He mugged Adam Noureddin on that last corner in exactly the same way that Adam mugged Kasma yesterday. That's one delighted young fella. 19-year-old Kasma Danial, Kasmayuddin, takes his first win of the season, and it's the 3rd time that he's beaten championship leader Pittapong Boonlert.
Those celebrations, Barry Russell, so deserved.
Yeah, they tell you everything. The smiles on their faces, and you wait until Kasma gets his helmet off, then you're going to see a big smile.
And that leads us nicely into our 2nd quiz question and the opportunity to win merchandise courtesy Idemitsu. Go to the Asia Road Racing Championship page on Facebook for your answers. Question 2, if you were paying attention at the start of that clip, you'd have heard how many races Kasma Danial has won on the blue of Hong Leong Yamaha in the 2019 season. Simply, how many races did Kasma win in 2019? We turn our attention to Thailand after the break as we look back on a wet 3rd round of the ARRC Championships that took place at the Buriram circuit, with Ratapong Willarat taking a central place in the headlines. Welcome back to the Asia Motorsports Hour. Rain dominated proceedings in round 3 of Thailand's ARRC Championship of Buriram in the east of the country. In the 600cc championships, Ratapong Willarat held a 2-point championship lead going into the first of the races. He would increase that championship lead, but only after a phenomenal battle with the irrepressible Muklada Sarapweng.
สีแดงนะครับนี่ครับคันนี้เลยนะครับออกสตาร์ทในตำแหน่งโพโพซิชันนะครับผมตามมาด้วยหมายเลข44นะครับมุกระดาสารพืชมุกระดาสารพืชได้หลายนายมาครับบานไหมมันคือมุกแล้วมุกก็เข้าได้ใช่ครับมุกเข้าไหลแคบเข้าได้ครับสำหรับมุกระดาแต่ออกทางตรงไปโค้ง4ความหมายคือเราลุ้นไม่ให้ขึ้นเบรกใช่หน่อยมุกยกรถและเอียง8 รอบการแข่งขันครับหันไปก็เจอครับผมมุกตอนนี้เนี่ยรถไม่ปล่อยห่างเลยนะครับมี49หลงมาแล้วครับก็โค้ดคือมันตอนนี้หลังแมนนี่โค้ดแล้วครับผมครับผมขวางไว้เลยอย่ามานะโฟร์อย่ามานะเห็นไหมต่อรอบ2คนนี้ทางมุกดาสารพืชและรัตพงศ์วิไลโรจน์ครับวิ่งเวลาเดียวกันครับ1 นาที 50ทั้ง2คนนะครับความเร็วทางตรงเป็นทางฝั่งของมุกดาสารพืชเร็วกว่านิดนึง 253.2 กิโลเมตรต่อชั่วโมงครับในขณะที่รัตพงศ์เจ้าโฟร์ครับ252นิดเดียวครับไปด้วยกันนะครับนี่ครับมาถึงตรงนี้ออกจากโค้ง3มามีรถช้า2คันอยู่นะครับมีหมายเลข77และหมายเลขของอาชีพแล้วก็การแข่งขันด้วยนะครับใช่ครับมุกเข้าลายในอีกแล้วแบบเดิมๆได้นะโค้ดก็แบบเดิมๆถ้ามุกอยู่ไม่ได้อะโค้ดก็จะเอาได้ตลอดใช่ครับแต่มุกก็ดาสารพืชครับครับเร็วสุดในฝนตกนะใช่ครับส่วนโค้ด252ครับไม่เอียงหนีทำให้ผมเอียงด้วยตลอดเลยเนี่ยผมเสียอาการมากเลยคุณผู้ชมผมก็เห็นแล้วล่ะคือเวลามุกเอียงพี่ก็เอียงอ่ะผมก็ลุ้นตามเขาอ่ะพอคุณมาแซวผมว่าผมยิ่งแบบมันยิ่งกดดันเนอะวะโอ้คุณนัชระไม่น่าเลยครับ2คันนี้เขาขี่ดีแล้วก็เมื่อกี้แล้วนะครับครับเป็นโค้ง12ตรงนี้ครับรัตพงศ์วิไลโรจน์ครับเจ้าโฟร์กำลังจะถึงโค้ง12ก่อนเข้ามาแบบละเอียดมากนะครับแล้วก็กำลังจะถึงเช็คเกอร์แฟร์ครับรัตพงศ์วิไลโรจน์ครับจากยามาฮ่าไทยแลนด์เรซซิ่งทีมครับความปลอดภัยที่เราเห็นนะคุณนัชระนักแข่งคู่แข่งเลยนะใช่ครับโอ้โหบทสรุปเป็นโฟร์นะครับที่สามารถเก็บ25คะแนนไปได้ในสนามนี้ครับรัตพงศ์วิไลโรจน์มุกดาสารพืชจบอันดับที่2นะครับสิทธิศักดิ์อ่อนเฉวียงอันดับ3ครับพี่ซุปอนุชานาคเจริญศรีจบอันดับที่4นะครับอันดับ5เป็นภาสวิทย์ทิติวรารักษ์
Ratapong now leads the championship standings 7 points clear of Muklada with 1 round to race. In other events at Buriram, rain totally dominated the 1000cc Superbikes championship, causing a race delay for the start of race 1 of the weekend. The Yamahas of Anupab Samun, number 500, and Apiwat Wangtanan, number 24, have been outpowered by Kawasaki rider Titipong in the season to date. Titipong, or Tingnote as he's nicknamed, is the championship leader going into the race and also qualified fastest. But his race would be eventful.
ดูโฮช็อตตรงแรกครับยังคงเป็นทางฝั่งของสแตมครับเฮ้ยโอ้ติงโนตครับที่ทงวโรกรครับโอ้ยดูออกมาครับจังหวะที่ออกมาเมื่อสักครู่นี้โอ้โหเดี๋ยวดูสถานการณ์ตอนนี้นะครับผม
That enabled the Yamahas of Anupab and Apiwat to take advantage, for a while at least, whilst Titipong got back onto his bike and continued racing and would eventually pick up 13 points. The lead was shared by the Yamaha, Anupab and Apiwat, and they took advantage for a while at least. Until lap 4, the two Yamahas vied for position, and then the weather struck again.
อ้าวสแตมป์ครับอภิวัตร วงศ์ธนานนท์ล้มครับผมเกิดอะไรขึ้นครับไปแล้วครับตอนนี้เหลืออนุภาพซามูลครับ
That allowed Anupab to safely negotiate his bike through the puddles of Buriram, which he did successfully to close the gap on Titipang at the top of the standings. Apiwat limping home in second despite his crash. 1 round to go, Anupab celebrating by upsetting the environmentalists. In the 400cc Supersports race, plenty of familiar names such as Pirapong Boonlert and Vorapam Malawan on show, but the slippery, sometimes impossible skating rink conditions took their share of victims.
ที่แบบเอาครอบไปทั้งอันเลยเพราะว่าถ้าเป็นไฟลิ่งแบบล้มหนึ่งคันนะหยิบไหมทันไหม
โอเคครับเจ็บเล็กน้อยล้มนักแข่งปลอดภัยดีครับ
เพชรวุฒิเพชรช่วยครับอุตส่าห์เป็นผู้นำในรุ่นของ S02 26ครับ26พิรพงษ์บุญเลิศครับ
Those crashes left the way for Vorapam Walwam to race home virtually unchallenged to take the checkered flag. It was a good day in the wet for Yamaha at Buriram. Before we go, a reminder of how you can win some ARRC merchandise courtesy this program sponsors Hidemitsu. Both today's questions surround the main theme of the edition, Hong Leong Yamaha Malaysia. Question 1. Name the last individual ARRC champion for Hong Leong Yamaha. The clue, it was back in 2003 at 125cc. Question 2. How many races did Kasma Danial Kasmudin win in the 2019 600cc season? Repeat, how many 600 Supersport races did Kasma Danial win for Hong Leong Yamaha in the 2019 season? That's our show. After the wet races of this weekend, you'll understand why we focus on rubber in next week's edition of the Asia Motorsports Hour.